Hello, this is Jimmy Mitchell, and we're back with another episode of the Libertarian Uncensored podcast. Let's get right into it. First, we have Denver Archdiocese sues Colorado over right to exclude LGBTQ people from universal preschool using taxpayer money from DenverPost.com by Donald Key. And I don't know if I didn't think I commented on this one, but I do think if you want to have preschool and people want to exclude you from if you want to have state funds, and I think people should be able to have any conditions they want, I guess you could argue. But the thing was, I don't think we should be having state-funded things preschool at all, so that's my thing. That's my thought, I would say. I think we just need to get rid of all state-funded education. That's my thought. Because I think the state-funded education gives the state too much control over education, and that's what I think really matters, how much control they have over education, and that's what I think, that's what really matters. So then we have Satire Society for Real, and that's from Mr. Girl's Substack, and he wrote, people shouldn't go to jail for looking at child pornography, and I said, guy apparently gave a positive review of Cuties, so I would lean towards real. I would argue child pornography is a NAT violation. I definitely don't care for Carson here trying to normalize it. But ultimately, it comes down to who wants to enforce the law. And I think, if people don't want to enforce the law of looking at child pornography, I personally think you should. But it comes down to if the people have the force and social capital to do it. That's my thoughts there. That's what comes down to everything, for everything. If you have the force and social capital to get away with something, and that's usually how life goes, Orphaned by decree, Italy's same-sex parents react to losing their rights from Clorox. Across was from the Anime Titties subreddit. And, I definitely don't think that is good, but I think I think you should be able to to have a kid regardless, if you want your name on the birth certificate, you can put it on the birth certificate, I really don't care if you want to justify putting your name wherever you want to justify putting your name, but the thing is, I think, the state shouldn't be making decisions like this. I think it's the individual's decision and not that of the state. The original sin of U.S. health policy from Ruin My Circle Jerk, that's employer-based health employer-based health insurance from K.org, and should we abolish the tax incentive for employer-based death? Should we abolish the tax incentive for employer-based health insurance? And I think I voted yes. I think everyone voted yes. It wasn't too close. It was yes 9-3. So, and there's about 6 hours left of voting for that. So, so I definitely don't think I don't think health insurance should be tied to your employer, and that's something that I think we should try and remember as time goes on. A draft of TikTok's plan to avoid a ban gives the U.S. government unprecedented oversight power from Forbes.com by Paton Fertan. I definitely would agree. We shouldn't be justifying giving the state more power than it already has. It already has too much power, and I think we need to be justifying make it have less power. Then we have Youngkin takes on Virginia School District defying gender identity policies. Doesn't have a choice from the Messenger.com by Paton Fertan. And I said, Paton Fertan said, high school for men can be ironic. We are very straightforwardly saying that first, parents are in charge of their children's life. Youngkin told McCollum, their kids don't belong to the state. They belong to the parents and to families, and they have the ultimate say in decisions that the child is going to make with a parent, not with a bureaucrat. And I said, I do like Youngkin's quote there. The state thinks it owns everyone, not just kids, though, I would say. Regardless, I do think you can make a libertarian argument for both sides here. You have the argument that parents should have the right to know if their child is using a different identity at school, but you also have the argument that the child should have the right to keep secrets from their parents if they want to. Then we have 2024 election, the Trump-Biden rematch. This is the best we can do, from John Stossel on YouTube, and I posted that, and I said, if it happens, it's a great argument for why Washington should have set a one-term precedent instead of a two-term one. Dave Smith announces he is not running for president in 2024. X posts r/Libertarian Party USA, and I posted that, and I said, looks like Amish might not run either. No real high-profile candidates so far. Then we have Colonel Douglas McGregor, alarming assessment of U.S. military decline in the Ukraine war dangers from Patrick Lancaster, was by Patrick Lancaster from Patrick Lancaster to locals.com. And I said this guy's probably on the Russian government payroll, but I hope the subreddit remembers that's supposed to be uncensored. So, I think that, we need to have free speech, even if he was on Nazi government payroll in 1942. I still think I would support his free speech. I'm pretty free speech absolutist, except for the only thing I would say I'm maybe not 100% free speech absolutist for is child/involuntary pornography. And even then, I guess you could have an argument, but I personally would say no to that. That's probably the only thing I want support for free speech. The elections are rigged. Elections have been rigged since forever. Don't believe me? Try getting a candidate on the ballot in all 50 states. From Marshall Bueno on Twitter, and I posted that. And I said, agreed, elections come down to who has the most resources above all else, not who has the best vision or ideas. Then we have Vivek is the same as all the other GOP candidates. He's just younger and likes Eminem from Maj Tory on Twitter, and I posted that. And I said, I think his rhetoric is a decent blend of MAGA and Libertarian, but I agree he's just going to end up being another uniparty statist. North Texas atheist group denied use of downtown Fort Worth banners, sues city from NBCDFW.com by Flimsy Al 5563. And I said, I just want people to be consistent. At this point, atheists are just any other religion. They need to be treated like the same when it comes to stuff like this. Then we have Hollywood studio Lionsgate brings back mask mandate amid COVID spike from The Guardian, TheGuardian.com. And I said, looks like they're hyping up COVID again. I'm sure the subreddit will support all the mandates and lockdowns again if the DNC/media says to do so. It's like Simon says, and people don't want to be ostracized for going against the narrative. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 1,000 times, and maybe I do deserve to get fooled. And I have a self-post. Politics is a lot easier when you figure out it's pretty much the adult version of Simon Says. Only instead of Simon, it's the parties and the media that are doing the saying. If you don't do what they say, the people who are playing that with them will come after you for it. That was another good point. It's like Simon Says. It's like Simon Says. Only it's the narrative says. People always go for whatever the narrative says. It's really just like a children's game. People won't go against the narrative because the party or the media says it. A right-wing sheriff's group that challenges federal laws gaining acceptance around the country from abcnews.go.com by Ninja Lover, and I said, good, I support nullification. I would say the same thing if the group was left-wing. Then we have these two articles both came out today. Why would the left suddenly be saying this? From Charlie Kirk, and I posted that, and I said it was in the article from the Atlantic. It was the article from the Atlantic. Americans vote too much, and then the article from the New York Times. Elections are bad for democracy, and I said, what I said? I said, looks like they're trying to shift the narrative again. It's like Simon Says. They try and shift the narrative, and people will go along as if nothing happened. If it's like if everyone jumped off a bridge with you. It's a good showing of that because if the narrative changes and no one else acknowledges that change, you'd go along with it. PC will go along with it if it's always gaslighting. It's so common when it comes to social media because. It's all gaslighting. People just constantly shifting their standards and moving the goalposts, but no one really, and no one will call them out on it because they have the narrative on their side. Then we have the U.S. justice system is rigged from Common Sense Soapbox on YouTube, and I posted that. And I do agree that the justice system is rigged. We have a two-tier justice system. Unlike a lot of people, I think Donald Trump's probably in the top tier, and Trump's not getting charged. They might do a mugshot for him, it looks like. As we're going to talk about that later, but I think the thing is, I don't think they'll end up charging them. The elites always have some way to get out of prison. Well, the common folk like you and me don't, and that's why we need to support the common man and get rid of, I would say, the defense system entirely, since I view it as incorrupt and irreformable. And we have your tax dollars are helping Wall Street. Big money institutions could control a stunning 40% of U.S. rental homes by 2030. Analysis say, here's what's the problem, from FinanceIO.com by Chi-Town20, and I said, surprised no one mentioned BlackRock in the link thread. It was a link thread to the thread in the Economics subreddit, and at least the LP isn't it. The BlackRock, it's going to be BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, I hear, are the big three when it comes to buying up all the property and such, and I think that's going to be something that we will see as time goes on. Then we have politics and peer pressure, another self-post from me, and I said, I remember one of the things that I was told as a child was, if everyone jumped off a bridge with you, I think politics is a great example of this, especially on social media. If someone's party or media said to jump up and down 25 times every day, enough people started doing it, you could see how people would justify it and start bullying others for not complying. Thoughts? And, it's especially true on Reddit with the upvotes less downvote system. I could also just see the subreddits supporting jumping up and down 25 times every day if the media suddenly said, the science says it is the only way to stop climate change. That's the thing. Studies can be manipulated to suit any narrative possible. Science is something that should always be questioned and never treated as gospel. Then we have, this is insane. You should not get unemployment benefits when you are employed by simply refusing to work, from Brad Palumbo on Twitter, and I posted that. I said, agreed. The state has no business using itself as a tool to bully companies to get what it wants. It's up to the people to enforce contracts, not the state. Then we have, should publicly funded colleges and institutions be allowed to discriminate based on race, by a Rue My Circle Jerk. And he said, last time sub discussed affirmative action, the racist voices were much louder than the anti-racist ones. Let's see if the racists are just more racist, or the true majority of people here. I would vote no. Let's see what it is. Currently, we have 1 yes vote and 5 no votes. That's good, I guess. Yeah. Then we have Wagner boss Prigozhin code in plane crash in Russia, and by Flimsy L506 on from BBC.co.uk. And I said, I'm convinced his death is as authentic as Epstein's. And then, one more. Trump's mugshot would be, I tweeted, Trump's mugshot will be horrible. All his supporters endlessly circle jerking how persecuted he is, and all his detractors circle jerking about how they finally got him. And I'm just sitting here like, can we please move on to someone else already? It's the... yeah, and I think that's gonna might be it for today. We'll see. Yeah, I think that'll be it for today. I'll be a little shorter than usual. So I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.